everyone, it's Mariah Amanda. Welcome back to my channel today. It is time for the April plan with me. I really loved last month's theme, which was black and silver and very bold but minimalistic. And I saw a picture that inspired me to do something in a similar vein, but not quite. So let's get into it, shall we? The color of the month is emerald green. So let's get into that, shall we? So as I mentioned in the introduction, this month's color is emerald. And we're also going to do a different type of calendar. So I always see these beautiful spreads on Pinterest and on Instagram where they have a drawing of the calendar out, like a box of the calendar, and then on the other page they have a vertical calendar as well. So they have the visual of the monthly calendar, but they also kind of use the original bullet journaling method. So here I'm just doodling and filling in the 3 colors that I'm going to be using this month. One's a Crayola Super Tip, and there are 2 Tombows. They are obviously both in the green family. So here I'm just showing that I pencil everything in first. So I'm going to divide personal appointments versus like work shifts on the other side of this calendar. So I went ahead and outlined the box in this, the Crayola Super Tip in the emerald color. And I go ahead and color it in. And I'm going to go ahead and use my my Uniball Signo white gel pen to do the numbers and letters. So at first I wasn't sure whether I was going to use white or black, so I did a kind of little test shade right here to see what I thought, and I thought white would just be easier to see for me, so I went with that. One thing I'm not 100% happy with this pen is that it seems to not skip, but it skips a little bit. Like you can kind of see, I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't come out. Like you have to go really slowly for it to be smooth and for all the letters to be kind of full and whole in their appearance. I did buy another pen, so I do have a replacement. So when this one runs out, I'm hoping that it is just better. Like maybe it was just old, the one I ordered offline. So I did a kind of, it's not really calligraphy. It's kind of like half my normal writing, half something a little bit more fancy. So for the calendar view, I just counted out the boxes. I believe it was 17 by 14, if that is correct. I don't quite remember, but it was something kind of to that proportion. And then for each day of the week, there was 2 boxes. So 2 boxes for Sunday, 2 boxes for Monday, etc. And then there was a box on each side as like a border. Here's the reference photo that I went off of for that. So definitely credit to that person. I did not think of this on my own. And then for the numbers themselves, I've never done this. I've always put the numbers specifically in each box, but this time they were almost like on the line because there's 2 boxes per day. So right in the middle is where the number is going to be. And again, with things like this that I haven't done before, I always draw everything out first in pencil. And then I make any adjustments that I need as I go. And so for the calendar lettering, I used my Tombow Mono drawing pen in 01, as you can see here. just to fill in that text. And for the tasks boxes that I'm going to be drawing at the bottom, I used my Tombow versus my Crayola Super Tip that I had used for the rest of this calendar. So I still kind of have the feeling while looking at this, like that it's not finished. So I don't know whether I'm going to add like more boxes around the calendar, like more just little lists. It just reminds me of the time where the art class I took, the teacher was like, no, that's not done. And I remember looking at the piece and being like, oh, really? But like this, I really looked at it and was like, it's not done. But I didn't really know what I needed to add to the spread to make it feel done. So we'll see as the month goes on if I add any more to it. The next spread I did was my gratitude spread. So the inspiration that I had for this month was a photo that I saw. I do not know where I saw it, whether it was on Pinterest or Instagram or where I saved it. I cannot find it for the life of me. But it was of a spread, and in the middle, it was colored in. So there was like 2 stripes down the middle. So that's what I'm going to do for my my daily spreads. For this, I just kind of wanted to do a border around it. And one thing I'm very unhappy with, and I don't know if I just haven't noticed this because I use very pastel colors normally, or gray, is that you can see like the marks where you lift the pen up off the page, and it doesn't look very in unison when you do it. So for this, I made a mistake, and I was going to try to color it in white because I kind of went outside the lines, but I ended up in the end just kind of expanding the green border. So I started from the bottom up with my numbering just to make sure, because I didn't pre-plan the numbers on this page, just to make sure I had enough spaces. And then I used that extra space at the top to just kind of faux hand letter in my title. I never can spell gratitude. I never know how to spell it. And then I went in and did alternating lines. So last month I had split up my headspace spread and my gratitude spread and did half and half, similar to this spread that I'm going to show right now. Actually, I guess I did that later on, but it wasn't enough space for me. So this is my habit tracker. This month I decided to do like little circles and to not draw the numbers in. And all I want to say is this is sped up to approximately 400% or 500% faster. I use Adobe Premiere, so I don't know exactly how much faster that means, but this took me a very long time. I did not film all of it. I only filmed those first 3 calendars, and then the rest of it, I actually did the next morning because this was at night after work. So I just wanted to show you guys that this stuff takes time and to not rush it and to just kind of enjoy the process of setting up your journal, because this shouldn't be stressful for us. Like, this is supposed to be something when you're setting up your journal that it's comforting and fun for you to do. So that's what I'm doing here. So this is the next day. And I went ahead, and this is the stencil I used. It's actually from Michael's. And for titles, I went in and I originally was going to use my ruler, but then I decided not to after the first box because the circles were almost hand drawn. Even though they were traced, they weren't perfect circles though. So I decided to go in and freehand the titles in my habit tracker and use rounded edges and corners, instead of very square precise. I thought it kind of went with the kind of rounded edges I did on my gratitude tracker as well. This color, I believe, is 249. So I originally couldn't find this color and I was just going to use the Crayola Super Tip, but then I found it. So in the end, I ended up using the 2 Tombows and the 1 Crayola. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I got a new little background or table covering. It's actually contact paper, so it's kind of a cheap alternative to kind of cover something up and get a good background for yourself when you're filming. Again, I went in with the white Uniball Signo gel pen. I kind of colored in the little mistakes that I had made. Obviously went through and erased those first calendars that I had outlined in pencil first. And then I also go in and write my titles of each habit. So a new one this month that I am tracking again is hilariously the use of mouthwash. So I'd gotten into a really good habit, flossing every night, using mouthwash, and then I stopped tracking it because it was something I did every night. And then I kind of fell off the wagon again. So I'm just going to try to kind of get back onto that good oral hygiene train. So here I purposely also left, I created 2 extra calendars. Just in case I wanted to add a habit halfway through the month. That happened last month. I decided to add a no spend box because I'm really trying to be a little bit better with my money. So that's why I had 2 extras at the end there. So this is the next day. This is, I did it in 2 sessions. I did it, like I said, the night before and then after work and then in the morning on my day off. So I decided that I didn't need a full headspace spread and I didn't need a full cleaning spread. So this month I'd try to divide those in half instead of dividing headspace and gratitude. I didn't end up using the gratitude spread as much as I wanted to because I felt constricted. Like I didn't feel like I had enough space to use it. So I ended up stop using it. And I feel like that is the case. Like when you don't like a spread for whatever reason, even if you don't know why, it's because for some reason it's not functional for you. So between the 3 colors that I've been using, I've just been alternating. So for the monthly, I use the Crayola, and then gratitude, I use the light green color and swap back and forth. So I'm just kind of I referenced the at a glance to remind myself what day of the week April starts on, and I just went ahead and wrote this all out. And then the finances spread is going to be on the next page over, but I didn't show that again because it's the same and it never changes, and also more privacy, you know? So YouTube spread. I don't know if you've noticed, but on the other 2 where I did a vertical calendar, I did not start them at the very top of the page, but on this one I did. So the reason for that being is I needed a little note section at the bottom. Something to list the videos so I can kind of tick off the progress and also kind of have a running list of what I need to do. So my plan is to kind of write bullet journaling videos maybe on one side and then make videos on the other. Something like that. That's why I didn't put it on the very left-hand side of the page. That's why I put it in the middle instead, so that I could kind of have that separation. Or I could put all of the videos on the right side and just kind of have videos that needed to be edited on the left and then notes at the bottom, just whatever I decide to do with it. My next spread is one I haven't done in quite a few months. I would say maybe I only did it the first few months last year in 2018 when I first started, but it's a brain dump page. I did a little space for it last month, and I split it with my cleaning spread, and I really, really liked it. And I really liked that it was small boxes, like in quarters like this. So I could like just brain dump everything out of my brain onto the paper, and then went on my way. But I also don't feel wasteful, because if I use one little box, and then I might use like the 2 for grocery lists or whatever I happen to use them for. So for this one, I did similar to the gratitude spread. I just went around the outside. I had originally used the bullet end of the pen to do kind of the middle markings, and then I went through and made them a little bit thicker because I didn't like how they looked. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's a smudge on this page, and that is one thing that kind of has been upsetting in this setting up of both last month and this month, is that the markers are so saturated with color. When you use a ruler, it like smears if you don't immediately wipe it off. So see, it happened again. It was on my hand and it smeared on the page. So just be careful if you're doing this kind of like saturated colors with your bullet journals, that you don't get it all over everywhere. So for this, I did 2 rows, 2 lines in, and colored that in the middle. And I didn't show it, but I did like, I think 3 2-page spreads for my dailies, just to start myself out on. And then obviously I can do more if I need it. But yeah, so this is just a quick overview, just so you can see kind of what everything looks like. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.